Good morning. How you guys doing? This Mike back with the daughter today on May 6, 2025. First, I want to give honor and praise to the Elohim of Israel for giving me the strength and the wisdom to bring you this message. Then I'd like to open with the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. May your will, not mine, be done. Today, I want to talk about standing 10 toes down with the Most High. Um, and this is my response when looking at the podcast featuring Tashera Simmons, the ex-wife of DMX. Shout out to that sister. That was one of the most powerful testimonies I ever heard, sis. Keep moving in the spirit and keep out here doing work for the Most High, sis. I appreciate your openness and honesty about what was going on and how you felt about it and how the Most High was moving in your lives. One of the things she talked about was the fact that DMX didn't choose a side to rock with. She said he had one foot in the world and he had one foot with God, knowing that God had a calling on his life. And she talked about what a shame that he never reached that full potential of what the Most High wanted him to do and really operated in his purpose. You see, I got the T-shirt on, created with a purpose, because we all have one. But I had to really love the fact that she was honest about that. She felt like that he had sold his soul and that his soul probably wasn't gonna make it into the kingdom. And she didn't say it in a way of coming at him, dissing him, because we definitely don't know who's gonna be there. But what she was saying was that he had got too deep in and he wasn't willing to come out of that world for the Most High. And she brought some scriptures along with what she was talking about. And I appreciate her honesty, because we live in a world where anybody dies, everybody feels like that their person, their loved one is going to be in heaven. Everyone, as soon as they die, well, I see you when I get to heaven, or happily heavenly birthday, or this or that. And some people ain't gonna like when I say this, but we got to be real and say, yo, we know how that person really was. And if that person ain't do some serious repentance, they're not gonna be there. Everybody's not getting into the kingdom, and we have to be honest about that. And she was honest about that. And what the honesty does, it's not about saying that she was dissing his legacy or coming at him. It was to warn the people that's still here. She basically said, it's a line drawn in the sand. We got to choose a side. And I respect the fact that she came like that. You know what I'm saying? And she went to a couple of scriptures. First, she talked about him choosing the world over the Most High. And she said he gained the world and he lost his soul. And that's Matthew 16:26. It says, for what is a man profited if he gain the whole world and loseth his soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? She talked about that. She said that he gained the world, yeah, but his soul. And she said the sad part is that he knew. That he knew what the Most High wanted for him. That he knew that he had a calling on his life. But the lust of the world and the flesh was too much, man. It was too much for him to let go. That Satan had that stronghold over him. You know what I mean? Then she went on to warn the people out there not to be lukewarm, not to be caught with one foot in and one foot out. You know what I'm saying? That's Revelations 3:15-16. I know thy works that are neither cold nor hot. I would thou were cold or hot. So then, because thou art lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth. He said here, rather you be cold or hot. The fact that you're lukewarm, he's going to spit you out his mouth. Like, you're out of here. She basically gave us a warning, being that she had a husband that was famous in that industry, that was doing the things that he was doing. And she basically said he got too deep in and he couldn't come back out. She basically said we need to be 10 toes down with the Most High, choose a side. You know what I mean? Choose a side. And he gave us a shot. I always say that COVID was a chance that he shut the world down and he gave us a shot to choose a side. And some people came out of that lockdown and was like, I'm going to be gung-ho for Most High. And some people came out of that lockdown and said, I'm ready to really go party and get it in. I want the world. So we're not going to be able to have no excuse because he gave us a chance when he shut the world down. You know what I'm saying? And we have to understand that. So let's get 10 toes down. And a shout out again to Tashera Simmons. I hope I'm saying her name right. Tashera. That podcast was powerful, sis. One of the most impactful podcasts that I heard. One of the realest testimonies I ever heard. So if you haven't seen it, I'll put the description in my comments. I'll put the link in my comments to check out her podcast. One of the most powerful joints I ever heard, man. You guys enjoy the rest of your day, and remember, get 10 toes down for the Most High. Shalom.